beloved, peace. It's your homie, Young Content, the unofficial sensei of the culture, mastering youthfulness, contentment, and NFTs. And we are recording this for all podcast listeners. This is NFT Guru Talk and Chill, number 39, with not only my best friends, but the gurus of the NFT Metaverse, okay? Welcome to episode 39. We got a little music playing underneath. I think I'm hearing some feedback. Maybe want to mute that. But welcome, guys. What's up? How you doing, Metamori, DeadStock, Walshy? Tell me.
How's she going, yo?
Talk to me nice.
Hey,
Talk to me nice.
Hey, we back.
What up?
Well,
It's good to see you guys.
And in the beginning, I do want to say, not sponsored by, hold on. Oh, here we go. Flying Dog. It's the truth. Also in remembrance of Jeremy not being here with us, but also we only speak the truth. So, I'll drink to that.
Drink to that for sure.
Cheers
I didn't even know
to
you drink, dude.
Well, it's humans are 75% H2O. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh.
And I today, not sponsored again. Just we're just keeping it light.
It's 10 beer.
It's a light Pilsner.
It is an IPA actually. It is an
that.
Imperial IPA, and I figured you would, my friend. And when we get together, we'll bless the air with some smoke and everything. Trust all of us.
Sensei doesn't smoke, but Walshy, you could bless the air with these guys.
I certainly will, sir.
I know Guru doesn't smoke. Okay.
Don't worry, we'll smoke enough for you, brother.
Thank
trust
you.
me.
So kind.
We'll take care of you. Yeah.
Yo, sorry about the intro graphic going haywire. You know, the Metaverse doesn't want me to be great sometimes. They want scammers to be great. It seems like.
I'm sure T-Moss can sort that for you.
Here, we'll make a coin for it, everybody. Don't worry, not financial advice. Buy it, please. Please, we need you to.
Sheesh. But I had a great week. What did I do? I got a new renovation in the office. See the new painting. Got a plant that I'm taking care of. Huxley sells for 42 ETH. Issue number 1.
Yes.
Huge. We'll love to see it. And before I start rambling, Metamore, you been good?
Life is good, brother. To be honest, I've been a little bit sick the last couple of days, so I apologize if there's any coughs or sniffles that I neglect to mute. But other than that, life is good. Really excited. I guess. So the thing on the horizon for me that I'm most excited about is my wife, also known as AK Bay, is getting into doing her own NFT art, and she's going to be launching. Now, it's not a generative collection. We're not launching any kind of coin or anything like that. It's just art that she's making, some one-of-ones. It'll be up on OpenSea. And it's called the 420 Friends, 420 FRENZ. And it's just a really cool take that she's got, really unique art that she's come up with, and the idea behind the collection is to raise awareness around cannabis. Historically, for humans, we've used it for thousands of years, and it's really just in the short term it's become a weird negative thing. And so it's just trying to open people's minds, not just about cannabis, but just in general, that a lot of times society tries to dictate what we deem to be acceptable instead of us just living our lives and loving each other. And so it's just meant to raise awareness about love,
just want to say
weed,
a couple goals. Shout out to wifey. She's a real one. You're a real one. So love you guys.
Oh, she's a one-on-one for sure. She's fucking amazing.
I love how you're saying that Metamori's wife approved, right? That's a TM. That's a trademark you're doing. I've seen that.
The trademark is pending, but so far Huxley is the only wife approved collection. It was pretty funny because she knows how excited I am about NFTs. Really, only up until honestly, I feel like it was only about a month ago, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, she would have really, I think borderline thought I was going crazy being part of this, and it just didn't make sense to her. And then I think it just clicked, as it has for many of us. It just clicked, and it's like, oh, okay, I see where this is going, and started making sense to her. And then I happened to show her Huxley, and I showed her the Huxley art. And I'm not saying this to shill Huxley, it's just this is a true story. She looked at the art and she said, wow, I like that better than all your other stuff. You should get more. And so then I just decided, okay, well, this is wife approved. I'm going to get more, and started stacking my Huxley bags.
I love that we, you know, I think to myself, and shout out to Nifty Q for saying this, I don't even remember my other life before NFTs. It's just, I'm in a warp of time here, and it's I could understand why, you know, the wife, the girlfriend, it's a learning curve, but once they get it, they get it.
Well, it's been really great. She's gonna be joining the Gutter Cat gang shortly. She's getting a gutter dog, one of my gutter dogs I minted. When I minted it, it's the one you guys might have seen me post it, the pink tats dog with the halo, pink background, very feminine doggo, and she's laid claim to that one, which I'm excited about, because when I minted it, she was the very first person I thought of. I thought, oh man, I hope wifey loves this one, because, well, as we all know, gang.
Welcome,
The gang is a great place to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fit.
Welcome wifey to the Gutter City, and so she'll be doing her inaugural gang post. Before you know it, it'll be exciting to see that. I'm just excited that she loves that art too.
Shout out to Dome Man TV, my mother effing gang. I'm bringing all the tree for Vegas. Yes, Walshy, I see you in there. Gradients from the 8.1 Uncaged Nails. What's up, beloved? So happy to have you here. What an honor. Derek Eve, what's up, y'all? So Saul, the homie. Hey, what up, fam? Dude, Saul I had 12 tacos yesterday. 6 al pastor, 6 carne asada. I was fucking in a coma. Pretty good, my guy. Just busy with work. All right, cool. Walshy, want to do the honors, homie? You already know the stream is titled Post Malone buys Bored Ape. NFTs are dead. If our NFTs dead, and Alpha Plays Only.
Right on, man. So, thanks for coming back, everybody. That's interacting with us in the chat. Love to see it. As far as like this week in review and Post Malone and all that good stuff, obviously I'm fired up. I'm a big Bored Ape Yacht Club guy. It's probably my biggest asset in my collection by a pretty good chunk. So seeing this obviously fires me up, though it doesn't really surprise me anymore. I think that we're going to see, I dare to say it, bigger names than Post Malone get into the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I think there's going to be other people to his stature that get involved, mainly because we've seen the Bored Apes kind of creep into NBA culture and also into hip hop culture.
Good point.
Which are two cultures that are very, very well known for their flexing. Like, for example, Maury's rocking a golden grill. There's no reason to have a golden grill in your mouth other than for a flex. So how are you going to flex in the metaverse? How are you going to flex on Twitter? How are you going to flex on Facebook? As of right now, the best way to do that, in my opinion, is with one of these high value NFTs. So I think that we're just kind of getting to scratching the surface as far as like big names getting involved in Bored Ape Yacht Club, and not just Bored Apes. I think that it's kind of just going to be the introductory NFT for a lot of these people. That gets them introduced to the wider world of NFTs. So, like, don't be disheartened if you're not a Bored Ape holder and you're feeling left out because no celebrities are hopping into the projects that you're invested in. Give it time. If you have conviction in those projects, then it could very well be that in the next month or 2 months or 3 months or maybe even in the next week, somebody who's noteworthy is, possibly going to just stroll on in and pump your bags. You just never know. So
that message that he sent when he bought it on MoonPay on his music video with The Weeknd.
Yeah,
I know he has a lot of young people that follow him. I think what he did, you were right. He did it to flex on them, right? He did it to poop on a chest in a sense. He's like, hey,
and
fuck
you know what?
I got this ape.
When I saw that, I wasn't sure if it was real. Like, did you guys think that was real when you first saw the actual video clip, like the little clip from the music video? I thought it was edited. Like, I thought somebody had photoshopped the ape on there, just like people have done in the past for
CGI
celebrities' profile pics. But then I watched the whole video from the start, the official video, and lo and behold, it was still there. So pretty cool to see.
That's right. What do you think about that?
You know what? It's one of those things. Like we're always talking about how people are building in the space, but what I feel we have to understand or keep in mind, at least, because I think a lot of people understand it. It's quite frank, but people are talking about this stuff even when we don't see it. There's work being done in the shadows. There's celebrities. There's people, regular people just like us, that are discovering this stuff, and even if they're not making moves, they're becoming aware of it. And obviously, awareness is one of the highest forms of intelligence, because if you're aware of something, you can make moves on it. And so I think it's just one of those things where, like you mentioned, Post Malone has people that are in his ear talking about this stuff. It's not like it's the first time he heard of NFTs, but it got to the point where he realized and he saw the value in it. And you gotta love the fact that he took the dive into it, just like Jimmy Fallon and everybody else, Lil Baby, and you know, all these other people, Ja Rule, Gang, you know, Icon, all that stuff. So we're just seeing the evolution of what's going to be happening now in this space. And as always, just the beginning. We're still early, and you know, to bring it full circle back to what Walshy was saying, people are going to be doing this to flex. A lot of the stuff that we've gotten into because we're in the space, because like you were mentioning earlier when we were talking, like, we can't imagine a world or a lifestyle where we don't have crypto or NFTs anymore, because we've been in this space. And since everything moves so quickly, it's almost like we've been in it for like centuries at this point. And so we always forget, wow, there's a ton of people coming in, a ton of celebrities that are going to want to flex, and we're already in on the things that they're going to want to be a part of. So evens the playing field, and you love to see it. Life always finds a way.
Wow, that's crazy. It coming, just seeing the evolution. I'm gonna show my age in the NFT space. Just seeing, remember Walshy, Josh Hart getting in, and Tyrese Halliburton through the snipers, and some of those early days were very coveted. Now that I look back on it, you know, even Halliburton wearing those Bored Ape shoes on in the NBA game.
Well, Young, we had a conversation.
That the rappers would have got on earlier. You know what I mean?
We had a conversation with Halliburton, you and I, in a Discord channel that we're both a part of, which I thought that was super cool, just to be in such close proximity to these celebrities that, you know, they're asking us questions personally, you know, calling us by our first name and just asking questions like they're one of the boys or one of the pals. So I think that's one of the coolest parts of the space right now.
Yeah, I want to ask you, Metamori. I mean, I posted today on my Instagram. I said celebrities are so Web 2, and seeing, you know, these decentralized identities like yourself, that the creators, the IP, the community builders, those are our new celebrities. Do you think that these rappers are trying to make themselves relevant? It takes a long, you know, a celebrity that can stay relevant for 40 years. That's huge. Not everyone can do that. Do you think that's why they're getting into this space, to stay relevant?
Yeah, I definitely think that a lot of it has to do with them seeing momentum heading a certain direction, and they don't want to be left behind. And they're in a unique position where when the momentum and the flexes and all, you know, the everyday regular person is not going to be able to throw down $180,000, $200,000 on a NFT, regardless of what that NFT is, whether it's a Punk, Ape, Kong, any of these top tier projects. 99.99 whatever percent of human beings just aren't going to be able to take that kind of swing. We're really lucky that we got in super early. It is fun to talk about more, you know, Maury's gold grills and the flex and stuff. And now, if I'm being totally honest, if I was not building, you know, building up a brand or a persona around my ape, the odds are pretty high that at some point I would be selling a gold grill and scooping a floor just to stay in the club. And not I'm just not much of a flex type person. I don't really have much jewelry. I'm a bit of a minimalist, and generally most of the things that I own tend to be focusing on how are those things going to make my life better in the future, rather than how do they make my life look to people in the present. And so that's been a part of why I've been building up this, it feels weird to say a brand or a persona, because it's really just me being me with a 3D ape while I talk. So, but I know that people connect with the character, they connect with the visuals of the gold grin ape and stuff like that. But totally agree with what you guys are saying. It's very focused on flex, and we're lucky we got in way early before the big money got here and they're swinging their flexes out. I am interested to see how the run on apes is going to affect the rest of the market. I do believe when there's a run on apes and punks, it tends to trickle down to the rest of the market, because I know, for example, at one point I had 4 apes and I sold my 3 extra apes. You know, in hindsight, sold them way too early. I should have held on to them longer, but I wouldn't have the collection that I have now if it weren't for making those moves. So no regrets, but you know, just is what it is. But
Sweet.
I think that, sorry,
I said, there's a legend in the chat that I gotta say hi to. Jennifer is in the building. Speaking of a fucking NFT celebrity, she said it's crazy how fast this space moves. Jenny from the blockchain. Shout out to you, Walsh, for giving her that name.
Good to see you, Jenny.
People don't know that. He's humble. See how humble he is. That's like, I want to ask you: are celebrities Web 2, or are they, and then trying to get relevant in Web 3? Correct.
You know what? I would say it's a mix, brother. It's going to be one of those things where, just like us, everybody's different. People are going to vibe with it. People are going to get it. People who grew up playing video games, people are going to connect with it, and they're going to get in the space. And there's going to be other celebrities that are going to be behind on this. You know, some people are ahead of the curve, some are behind. And so what we're seeing now is, while we do see people being advantageous, obviously we got a lot of good stories to talk about today of people being advantageous of being in the space and taking advantage of their following. But with that being said, we're seeing the good and the bad. We have people like Ja Rule, who is recognized as Snoop Dogg, recognizing a culture, jumping in on it, both feet. And then we have other people that are basically doing the old, hey guys, what NFT should I get? Because they're going to come out with a project the very next week. And so we can kind of see what's happening right now and who's making the moves that are legit, authentic, genuine, and some of the people that are really just here to get another bag. And the funny thing is, the space, it's still so early that we're all going to get the bag if we make good moves. But the funny thing is, a lot of these people are going to fuck up their reputation. And it's going to be interesting to see, just like a lot of projects are not going to make it going into crypto winter and moving forward. A lot of these personalities, a lot of these influencers, you know, a bull run,
they're not,
you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. And when everything settles, there's only going to be a few projects that are surviving. There's only going to be a few influencers. What are you going to FUD when there's nothing around to FUD? Like, what is your purpose at that point? There's no entertainment. There's nothing else to do. What are you going to get a bag on when nobody has money because they lost it all? So, you know, keep building value. And it's, you know, me, I got the popcorn and I'm just watching everything go down because we gonna be all right.
This whole group inspires me, and even you, Jennifer, for not ever selling out. You could have been sold out in a sense. You could have been shilled a product that was ass. But I think there's a Bible verse. I don't want to get too preachy, but it says something. All someone has is their fucking name. So it's like that's all we die with is our name. And I think legacy is greater than currency.
Yes, sir.
Always.
No, you're right.
Oh, reputation is the alpha currency, brother.
That's literally what one of my favorite high school teachers, he taught me world issues. And his last words to us as a class were basically what you just said, that all you have in life is your name, and essentially protect your name like it's your balls, because it's all you got in life.
I like that.
For real.
And if you don't have balls, just what else you hold dear.
Just
protect. You know, we include everybody. Protect your.
Added up.
Protect
said,
your
pretty
neck.
Sure Scarface said that, dude.
Yeah.
It's funny because Tony had a NFT Twitter space, comedy space, where he made you drop one, Scarface, The Godfather, or Goodfellas, and a lot of people dropped Scarface. What a shame.
Man.
If it comes from that, Alpha for sure. There's also someone else said today, Evan, a good friend of mine. He commented on something. He said, gonna be cool when there aren't just mega millionaires, but there are just hella people with a few million, and we're all just living up. That is freedom. The whole decentralizing the wealth to, you know, a couple ape owners that have millions of dollars. Do you think it will humble the culture, or do you think we'll just go into this super crazy flex? I mean, when everyone has like millions of dollars.
it'll be one of those things where I'll keep this one short because I'll send it to Walshy and more. But you know, I feel like the money and power just already shows people who you are already. So we're just gonna see who people really are, and I'm about to smoke, so I want to see it because I you know, while I don't want to be part of the drama, I'll definitely watch it and enjoy it. So
you need to get some popcorn all the time in your studio.
I got it, bro. I got it.
You need a popcorn maker.
Yeah, we need to get you a popcorn maker.
Yeah, behind
the
right.
the DeadStock popcorn
cool,
maker. It'd be like
yeah,
a trademark.
That's a good idea. Just you know, rolling something in one hand, just eating the popcorn in the other. So
you can pay for your popcorn with FUD token.
Well, I don't think I think I actually just lost money on FUD token, and I didn't even mint it. I didn't even mint it, and I lost money on it. So I think we all lost as a space.
This past week, I was succumbing to the FUD of the scam. I think I sold a dead fella for cheap, 0.5. Then everything started booming. I've been really focused on Huxley. Walshy, can you speak to this recent boom that's happened? I thought I was gonna ride out for a little bit, but it just you know, it got back like a crack addict.
Like the NFT boom, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of like, we've been talking about this for a little while now, and that was that while ETH is high, from the sample size that I've seen personally anyways, it's that when ETH is high, the NFTs kind of go to sleep, right? And this is the second time I've witnessed this happen in about a year since I've been here, where ETH went really, really high, and people that had bags of ETH were able to participate in DeFi things and buy altcoins and you know, do the whole shitcoin casino thing. Last time this happened, I had to sit that out because I had NFTs, but I hadn't amassed any kind of like a cryptocurrency portfolio to where I had some cushioning. Now I prepared for this run up that we just saw, that we're kind of on the downturn of. And, you know, this time around, I was able to have more fun. I had more flexibility because I had money to actually buy some shit coins this time around and actually play while ETH was high. Now that ETH is kind of going back down to a more sustainable price, in my opinion, we're seeing people spend money on NFTs a little bit more liberally. And in particular with the Bored Ape Yacht Club boom, I think that that's just trickling down. And I think that that's what we're seeing right now, is we're just seeing money flow back to NFTs from DeFi. And I think it's going to continue to happen until something stops it, right? Like an object in motion likes to stay in motion. Mm-hmm. So until ETH spikes again, or until, you know, something really fuddy happens, or, you know, if China legalizes Bitcoin and then bans it again, until something like that happens, I think we're going to be enjoying a little bit of an NFT season right now, for the time being anyways.
I wonder how long this season lasts. Hopefully it lasts after Thanksgiving, so we can pick up some Black Friday deals, because you know Black Friday deals are coming in the NFT space. I would love to see it, you know, in this new progression. What happens on Black Friday? What happens in the normal real world into these metaverses?
I think our Black Friday for NFTs was like up until like yesterday, you know what I mean? Or the day before. Maybe not yesterday, but like a couple days ago was basically when the Black Friday sale kind of ended, I think, because we saw some really nice prices. Although ETH was higher, like prices were definitely marked down at a discount because the market was just so illiquid. People were panic selling.
Can we say also, like, it's a good point with what we're talking about right now to just show, like, guys, do not buy into a pump. Things are pumping right now. Don't FOMO into this shit. Your time to buy was literally like the past couple weeks. So I mean, like, if you missed it, you missed it. Let everything settle, reset, and then jump into what you got to do, because you know, if you're just gonna be FOMOing into stuff, then not gonna make it.
This is a great time, in my opinion, to start thinking about, and this is just my opinion, not financial advice, but when this type of a market is happening, I'm focusing on selling NFTs that I don't think are going to make it to like the top 10 or 15 projects, or maybe even top 20 projects. I try to liquidate those while the market is very liquid in NFTs, and just amass ETH. And then I'll do some studying, and I'm planning on doing this myself and buying into a blue chip that's maybe, you know, top 5, top 10 projects. Obviously,
for any new users that don't know what blue chip is, that are listening to the Apple podcast or the Spotify, what is a blue chip?
Okay, now when I say blue chip, I might use that a little bit too liberally, but blue chip basically just like a very, very solid project that has a really good foundation, that's been around long enough to kind of establish itself, to not be like something that's gonna I shouldn't say this because in NFTs things certainly can dip like 50% in the run of a day, but they're volatile, right? Less volatile, they're more well established.
For sure. Let me. We're gonna unpack that a little more. I got to get to the chat. There's a couple legends in the chat. Shout out to Mouthing Out Podcast. He's in the building. This is a great resource to learn. Continue to kill it. Continue to make content. We in this thing. Popcorn. These are the best shows, by the way. Just the fam talking. I mean, this one is a kind of a rich guy stuff, but overall, it's like chilling by a bonfire. Dude, bonfires in the dojo getaway coming very soon, for sure. Legend here. There's so many cool people coming in this space, and yeah, we want you all to get a blue chip. In the early days when we were starting this, blue chips were just accessible. Metamori, what do you think happened? You think is it reflecting the .com bubble where just all of these domains and all these things pop off? Are we gonna get more blue chips, do you think? How do we hunt for those?
I think that, like, and as you guys were pointing out, blue chip is definitely a term that we use. That, you know, there's no real set blue chips. We all kind of have in mind what we see as the top projects, and then there would be people that would argue what classifies blue chip. It's really like a Web 2 term that we're applying to these Web 3 assets, just based on our experience of other investments. So just bear that in mind. Just because we are talking about blue chips, we don't know what the future holds, and we don't know what these projects or their value are going to do in the future. So just anyone that's considering getting into the space, number one rule, never put more in than you can afford to lose, and just assume that anything you're doing could go to zero, because this stuff really is, I mean, I'm just not aware of any other space that's as volatile as this space. So you need to be really careful. And whether you're on the hunt for, very, very careful. You know, I mean, even the Bored Apes, one of the most solid projects, you know, the floor was, I think, 30 a few weeks ago. It's up to 50 something now. I mean, the fluctuation, if your sole focus is money and trying to just financial gain in this space is great, and it's awesome, but if that's your only focus, it's going to be really stressful for you. So for example, most of the stuff that I own and that I've been holding and that I have conviction in, I rarely look at the floor price, because that's not what I'm interested in. Like for me, my Bored Ape, what I'm interested in is creating this character around Maury and having a VTuber and interacting with you guys in a way that helps people understand how we'll interact with each other in the metaverse. Like, this is like Metaverse, the alpha version of experiencing what's it like to interact with another person when they're being their avatar. So I guess when I'm looking at any project, I always talk to the founders first, because I want to know that they're willing to talk to me.
Let me put the Alpha Plays Only on that one.
Alpha Plays
That's just step one for me. I try and talk to the founders and try and get a feel for, like, are they really willing to interact with me on a personal level, answer my questions, or at the very least point me towards somebody that will. And then from there, just talking to other people in the community. Why are they excited about it? Get a feel for, you know, I personally, there's so many opportunities in the space. The ones that I focus on are not always what I think will make money the fastest. It's actually what I want to keep. But that's just me. So that's my way of approaching it, is when I look at something and I say, okay, am I interested in having this, keeping it, and then seeing what that team will build out and how the value will come later, versus, you know, what flip might I make this weekend or something like that. That's just not my approach. And I think we all have different strategies and different approaches to why we make purchases and sales and things like that. And that's one thing I really enjoy about chatting with you guys, is we all have different focuses. We have kind of intersecting interests in terms of certain projects we are all really passionate about, but then we're really good at keeping each other informed. So that's another key thing in this space, is you want to create a solid network of people that are helpful and interested in learning about this and learning about where are we headed and what are we doing. And that way you can have a network of people to bounce ideas off of, and you can talk, we often talk about upcoming projects and kind of get a temperature gauge from each other of, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about the 8.1 Uncaged? What do you think about FUD Token? Or what do you think of Art Chick or whatever that person calls themselves now, Punk whatever
Art
number,
Mail.
Art Man. But and power to them. They have, some definitions would say they are very successful in what they've done. I just don't agree with their approach to the space morally. So yeah, technically rules weren't broken, but as I said in a tweet earlier today, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And there are real people in this space, and you can create real harm, because some people don't have much in this life. So be very careful about what kind of bullshit you push on other people.
It's like, I feel bad in the essence
treat
of
people
telling people about Tokyo 10. Some of the early people in the dojo. That's why I have to highlight these failures. Some of these people early in the dojo, our dojo, bought that. They used their 0.08 ETH on it, $300, and lost because they got rug pulled. And I feel like I should take responsibility of that, even though we have the rules in there. But it's like, I don't want to. I can only imagine having that many followers. I can only imagine having any followers, and you're minting 10 of these goddamn things as a new user, and you're just completely wrecked. It's like, I feel bad.
Yeah, but Young, there's a big difference between giving advice and telling people to do their own research and actually asking people to buy an asset that is straight up profiting you specifically and just basically leeching money out of other people. Yeah. There's a difference between making a recommendation between friends and, it being a project that you're not affiliated with, and it being your own project and shilling it, knowing it's a shit project and nothing's going to come out of it. Big difference. Yeah. So don't be so hard on yourself. And I mean, what we're trying to do here, I'm sure everybody that's listening knows, everybody in the dojo knows, we're just trying to create a space where people can bounce ideas off each other. And, some people that know their way around a little bit better are available to help if there's any questions. So nothing that we say obviously constitutes financial advice. You guys know all this already, but just a quick recap.
Bring me back to the surface, DeadStock here.
Okay, so coming back to the surface, the bottom line is that you just have to take personal responsibility. This space is still a speculative market, just like a ton of markets, while we do know where a lot of this is going in the long term. Remember, we're seeing these cycles, whether they're hyper cycles, they're quick, they're a little bit longer, whether it's the crypto, the DeFi, the NFTs. You got to make sure that you are discovering the lay of the land, continually educating yourself, surrounding yourself by good people, being part of good groups, and just making sure that you're taking action for whatever your goals are. Know what you want to do, and make sure you make your moves, because there's other people out there that will be making a ton of money, and they're not always going to be good people, and that's fine, because that's how the world works. But at the same time, there's ways to avoid and recognize that stuff and put yourself in good positions to succeed. So I really
Cole, you need to get Pickles back on its feet, dude. I literally need those Pickles to like rise 10x, bro, because I know you bought my toy, Cole, and I need you, and I was supporting the Pickles, but damn, dude, need some utility on the Pickles, man.
I think I 15x'd on each pickle, Young.
You did what?
He sold before reveal, so
sheesh, dude.
They were set. You could have done a 17. I think the floor ended up being like 0.17. So
would you consider Pickles a blue chip?
No,
I would consider them a. No, I wouldn't even consider them. They're a no chip.
I mean, in all honesty, I'd consider, like, my definition of a blue chip would probably be like the top 1 to 5 NFT projects, only if those projects have actually been around, not just because they're grossing high because they dropped that day, like something that's consistently in the top with, lower volatility. That's like,
Sweet. Well, the other part of the show title are NFTs are dead, which we already know that's true. But do you think that now we're talking about blue chips, and I'm kind of seeing it in the future a little bit, what happens when we fractionalize and all the Wall Street bros get in, and all of a sudden we're just trading, day trading these NFTs? nonstop. Is that going to affect us negatively when we go fractionalize Wall Street Bros? Is it a bad mix?
Fractionalizing can be kind of controversial depending on who you ask. Like I think that the more options we have, the better. I like options. But I know people that are like adamantly opposed to the whole fractionalization thing, and they just hate the
I
idea.
feel like it's inevitable, bro.
I mean, it's
inevitable.
a nice option. I like options. I like the idea that we have this Ethereum network where we can build awesome applications on it, and we can use those applications in whatever way we so choose to. And I think that that's just awesome. That's the whole point of the internet computer. So, you know, don't use it if you don't like it, is basically what I have to say. And to the builders out there building these applications, keep on building, man. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like you're adding the builders are the reason the Ethereum network is so valuable, because of the amount of things that you can do with the Ethereum network. So without these people building applications and creating value on this network, we would not have seen $4,800 Ether last week. It wouldn't have it.
I would also add that it's valuable because you made amazing points. It's also valuable because people use it. I mean, there's a ton of ghost chains out there that people who are not stupid people built and nobody use it and they have no value. So I think there's definitely a balance with that. But to the fractionalization thing,
to that
just
question,
the same.
I need to know that fractionalization aspect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at the foundation of why we're all here in crypto. In 2009, Bitcoin. Does everybody own a whole Bitcoin? No, they own a Satoshi or whatever it is, 0.01 or whatever fraction of that. And so eventually these things that we are getting into and minted and own the complete thing of, other people are going to, their only option is going to be a fractionalized portion of it. Now, is it done perfectly at the moment? No. Is it something that I'm going to be getting into? Probably not, but there's a bunch of DAOs a few of us are into that we're going to be owning DAO tokens too, whether it's Punks or Penelopes with the Kitty Bank. And in the future, everything's going to be an NFT, whether it's your driver's license, your real estate, your house, loans, owning a building in New York or something like the Empire State Building. People are going to want to get in on owning, maybe a sports team, just the way that, technically the fans own the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to end up seeing some of this stuff go down like that. And, we'll just have to watch the landscape evolve, because where we're at now, this thing is going to change and it's going to continue to be. I
think you always said history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And the fact that when you can fractionalize a Bored Ape, are they going to give you an ETF? Are you going to be able to short long the day?
Bored Ape futures, futures or something.
Futures, and all of a sudden, okay, you're projecting if this shit is, by some news, People's Magazine, if they fuck up, I feel like there's going to be a lot of factors where people are playing with money on these fractionalized tokens.
It's very
and not manipulation at the same time.
Yeah,
and that's my concern with it right now as it stands, because there's not many options as far as platforms to go fractionalize on, that are user friendly for your average person. So if I go to fractional right now, like the initial valuation of that item weighs heavily on like whether or not you should get involved. You know what I mean? And the price that you're paying per token, I've done the math, doesn't always make sense necessarily. So like, I don't know, you really kind of have to have an understanding of what you're getting into. You have to know what percentage the owner is holding back. Like, are you even going to have is the general public going to have any voting power, or is the owner going to keep 51% and just basically veto any kind of a vote that gets brought up? You got to look at all of these things before you get into fractionalizing.
Learn math, please.
Yeah. Mind you, I think that fractionalizing is very useful in a use case similar to, say, what Carlini did with Penelopes, where they were going to raffle off an ape to one of the people in the country club. But rather than doing that, he fractionalized it and gifted all of the people involved equal portion of the ape. That was a great use case. And there's other use cases where it makes perfect sense. It's just, if you're trying to make an investment, you got to really know the numbers that you're dealing with before you start throwing the money on the table.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. And that's why I got to keep you guys protected, because I got the full mechanic suit on. Feel me? Full with the sandals. And I'm trying to take all the oil on me, all the blood on this shirt.
The Freedom Moseses. I see the freedoms.
Don't say Freedom Moseses, bro. They're not supposed to know where I get these.
They won't know where you get them anyway. Shit. Guys, you don't know where he gets them, trust me. We minted them. All right.
That is a great point, Walshy, about like taking these early assets, maybe that we have in our collection, and putting that towards the dojo, And you see it like with YGG, Gil Games. Jeremy loves that. And how they, I'm pretty sure they have this token, and they probably have all these assets that they're going to start giving back to their holders. Bullish on YGG, Gil Games. Metamori, what's your take on? I feel like in this show we talk about shit, and then all of a sudden it starts happening. And I think right now the metaverse conversation is really prominent right now. But I feel like fractionalization is going to come. You have any thoughts on fractionalizing, bro? The double-edged sword of it. Before we move on to the next topic.
I feel like similar to what the other boys were saying is that with fractionalization, it lowers the point of entry. I don't feel like fractionalization is going to be the Trojan horse that brings in day trading, futures, like this corporate trading type stuff. I think that that level of investment, like so corporations with big money like that, they tend to be a lot more careful, and so they're probably going to take their sweet time before they come in. I don't think fractionalization is going to change their mind about how risky or new this space is. And I think for the most part, corporate entities are going to avoid the space until they feel it's safe enough to do so, because compared to most of us, just most people, they've got liquidity to throw around that we can't even imagine. And so they can just comfortably look at Jimmy Kimmel buying an ape for 186,000 US and kind of chuckle about it and think that, oh, these guys have lost their mind. Too, dude? Sorry, Fallon.
I like Kimmel, but I don't know if he's APO like that.
I was like losing my mind here. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, I think corporate money tends to move slow because it doesn't need to move fast. It's already they don't need to front run anyone. They already have the momentum that the rest of us are trying to create. To have, corporations, they're not people. They're not seeking financial freedom. They're just snowballing what they've created and they do so based on statistics and particular strategies. And I don't think that fractionalization is going to suddenly bring more corporate investment. I feel like it's more likely to lower the entry point for most people that are interested in these projects. I'm
gonna save this clip,
but they don't have
in a year from now we can play it back and have a good time over some whiskey.
Yes, sir.
I think Kylie Jenner was trying to buy a Bored Ape today or yesterday and kind of failed at buying it. She needs to get onboarded. So if anybody in the chat wants to hit up Kylie Jenner on Twitter, get her onboarded with a MetaMask or MoonPay. I don't even use MoonPay.
Was that real? Was that a real actual thing, or was that one of those Photoshop jobbies?
I don't know, dude.
Because apparently the guy blocked her and everything after the that was a while now, eh? Shoot, the guy that she approached.
I think it was a meme because there was once he did that, there was like 4 other celebrity encounters where the person was like, hey, I'm really interested in getting this, and then they're like, I blocked him, and everybody's like, you did it for the culture, and I'm like, it's definitely funny, but it's also probably not real. But at the same time, it's good that we're talking about it because this stuff is happening, and these people, if they see something, money's not an issue. The issue is getting exactly the one they want now. If they decide they want that one. So and it's not for sale. So.
That's why I also heard that Des Bryant's project, People's Corner, failed. It was a 15 ETH cash grab. That you got access to a couple of his parties. The art wasn't there, and I think his CEO ended up getting fired for fraudulent aspects.
Well, I mean, time always tells the truth, right? We just let them play their cards, and we see where they fall, and if they're bringing value, we rock with them, and if not, in the short time, people will get scammed, and then eventually they fall to the wayside. I mean, think about it. This whole NFT bull run has only really been since. And we'll give Top Shot its full just, they've really had that the beginning earlier this year with the end of January into February. So if we're talking from earlier this year, hasn't even been a year yet. How many people have literally gotten into the space, made some moves, fucked up, no matter celebrity or not, and we don't even hear from them anymore because it's like it's your reputation. Like, we don't trust you, we don't believe you. You need more people. So
facts.
Jay-Z.
Absolute facts. Let's get back to some real news here. Metaverse The Metaverse boom is popping off left and right. I remember when I was selling Sandbox lands for 0.2, 0.1. You're seeing them now at an ETH and a half for one plot. Um, I hope Sebastian is getting ready with all this ETH that he's acquiring to actually release the game and have some cool Roblox experience, Metaverse experience that we all want. But the same token, House of Kiba is killing it as well with that Metaverse trap house for the gutter cats. What's your stance on the Metaverse boom right now? I know DCO blogger is popping off. That's his bread and butter. What's happening? And also, Walshy, are wearables more valuable too?
And the metaverse buzz is pretty interesting, eh? Like this is stuff that we've been looking into and talking about privately, you know, since we met back in January, February. So I know that as far as Sandbox goes, like let's talk about that first. I know that Sandbox lands were usually sitting around 0.4 ETH for your average plot. And the last time I checked, are they still over 2 ETH a Sandbox plot, or they're around 2 ETH now is what I want to jump out on a limb and say that they cost. So needless to say, they've gone up substantially in the past couple of weeks with all of the buzz around, you know, Meta with Zuckerberg and all that stuff. And a lot of the exchanges, the centralized exchanges listing Metaverse coins. We've also seen the Sand token continue to rise as basically everything else is red. So there's definitely hype in the retail world, in the you know, the crypto Twitter world, as far as the Metaverse goes. And I think a lot of that is because Sandbox is announcing, you know, some dates as far as possibly open. I don't know if they're announcing an alpha test or what they're actually announcing, but there's some dates that have been announced as far as I know, and people are getting hype on that.
Before you keep going to that, I'm gonna show you my age in Sandbox. I do have an estate where the dojo was gonna be able to party and live. It's next to Whale Shark. Rest in peace, Whale Shark. I hope you're alive. Is Whale Shark okay?
Whale Shark's still kicking.
Yeah. All right, cool. Love that guy. I actually love that guy. He don't get enough credit. I don't think he's ever fudded. Really awesome.
Shout out Whale Shark.
Do you remember the times? I'm gonna show you my age in Sandbox. There was one of their first assets called Billboard Man. I have a Billboard Man. I love my Billboard Man. It's Genesis as fuck, and I think it sells for like stupid amount. But if anybody wants to use Billboard Man, you're welcome. DeadStock, if you want to put your NFT on it. Walshy, if you want to put your CyberKong on it. Metamore, if you want to do the greetings in the hologram. Billboard Man is yours.
Amazing.
DeadStock,
Thanks, brother.
Do you think there's going to be a fight between Decentraland and Sandbox, and did Zucks kick this off, I guess, like Walshy said?
You know, competition is always great in the space. Do I think it's going to be like a fight for it? No, the same way, like, does New York really compete with California? I mean, they're both successful, but both on either side of the coast. Like, it is like, you know, like people want to travel to Italy and go around. Like, there's going to be more than, and there's probably going to be places, establishments that we don't even know yet. They're going to come out and take the world for storm, the Metaverse for storm, at least, that we're going to see. So I'll tell you what, Facebook, they made the right move. They knew, and obviously they didn't just do this stuff overnight. They've been planning this probably all year. They see what's happening in the space. They know as a business, as a billion-dollar business, that they have to pivot and continue to grow. Otherwise, they will die. That's how businesses work. And so they realized, okay, we're in the final leg. We're in the fourth quarter of this bull run. And so now is the time for us to announce this transition. Again, I know a lot of us probably aren't going to use it. And we say that now, but it might be interesting when they do come out with something, if they end up doing. Well, I mean, I have no reason to use right now. It has no value for me. But when they announce what the value is going to be, proposition, I'm completely open to saying, oh, okay, we're gonna throw some parties. We're gonna, you know, if you end up doing something on there, obviously I'm gonna jump in and rock with you because that's how we roll. But I think all of these places are going to win as long as they continue to deliver. And the nice thing is, what we're going to see is just like there's different flavors of soda or whatever drink, liquor, whatever you want to put in your cup. People are going to have their preference. Sandbox looks different than Decentraland, looks different than this, like that, you know. So it's going to be something where people are going to gravitate where they feel more comfortable. And then, of course, we're all going to intermingle when our friend is over here, or there's a party over there, or this celebrity that we like, or this musician's doing that. So I think it's just going to be something where this stuff is going vertical, and we're going to see a lot of these things continue to succeed.
Before I give it back to Meta, Walshy, remember the times when we were playing in Decentraland? We were just doing treasure hunts. We were just watching art. Do you think that they need an AP? Do you think they need a bridge to Meta itself to stay relevant? Because a lot of people know Decentraland is just a place to go watch art and maybe some DJ concerts.
You mean like do platforms like Decentraland and Sandbox need to be connected to like the Zuckerberg
Yeah.
version
Do
of
they need
Meta?
a bridge?
So that's something that I've kind of wondered about. Like, how are these different metaverse going to be interconnected? Are they going to be interconnected? Are only some of them going to be interconnected with other certain ones like that have partnerships? There's probably a lot that's going to go into that. I would like to see some sort of interconnectivity just because being restricted to one metaverse, it kind of sucks if you're really invested in Sandbox, and if you're not somebody that has a lot of money and you want to be able to interact in another metaverse, for example, with maybe your avatar. That'd be kind of cool to be able to do cross-platform. You know what I mean? Decentraland, I don't know, man. That's a thinker. You got me thinking here. Because Decentraland was kind of the platform that
conferences, the live chat talks, and now
Yeah.
you're seeing that with Meta. So is that something they're going to still do?
They're going to be offering a lot of the same things. So like I think it would be in their best interest to have some sort of a partnership where you can interact through both metaverses. But I mean, that's a question I can't really answer. But the answer is I hope so. Like I'd like to see that.
For sure.
I like use cases. I like having a lot of options, right?
Go ahead, Desktop, before I go ahead.
The only thing I was going to say is he brings up a great point, and both of you do. The main thing on a foundational level is what are we always talking about? Community. What do people want to be part of? A community, whatever it is, sports, NFTs, blah, 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 a project. So what are we seeing now, specifically even on Twitter? We see spaces every night. I mean, you guys know months ago, I was like, space is going to blow up, space is going to blow up. And spaces, it's been blowing up. You know what I mean? Clubhouse, where you at? Because you fucked up. But Twitter Spaces is going to be one of those things where we're probably going to see. I mean, it is what it is, but Twitter is eventually going to have maybe its own metaverse where these spaces are going to allow people to utilize their 3D avatars. Because eventually, if not, what are people going to want to do? They're going to start congregating in spaces in other places, other platforms, whether it's Sandbox, whether it's Decentraland, and that's where people are going to go to get together to talk about stuff. It is what it is, because then eventually, instead of us just seeing each other's PFPs, we're going to be seeing the evolution of that, which is the augmented reality, virtual reality, and 3D metaverse.
But aren't we kind of misguided in a sense, because Decentraland is not really decentralized, right? It has a DAO that votes on in that sense, but it's still like a server host. Is it decentralized? Are we blind or benign to know that this stuff probably like Mark said, if you have a true decentralized metaverse, you're gonna have like crime or fraud or all this. I don't want to risk my freedoms for a centralized metaverse though. But
well, it comes down to, like we always talk about, personal responsibility. I mean, do you want to? And this is not to get on anybody, but do you want to? Not your keys, not your crypto. Do you want Coinbase and KuCoin and Kraken and all these places, which do provide a valuable service on onboarding and allowing people to be a part of the space to run your shit? Or do you want to man or woman up and grab a hardware wallet, Trezor, Ledger, whatever it is,
people are dependent, dog. People are dependent when they lose their things. Hey, I need insurance, I need this, and it's like that's just human nature.
Well, that's why there's levels to it. So you make a great point. In the end, people are going to find their buoyancy, and they're going to find where they fit in. And see, some people are going to fly high and be independent and not lone wolf it, but just be able to hold 100% of their responsibility and take care of it. And other people are going to have to, they're going to need the seatbelt. They're going to need a handhold. They're going to need some place to go where they can lean on it. But with everything, safe space, and with that, well, you know what I mean. Look, whatever. It's just it's one of those things where people are just going to have to find what they feel comfortable with
without getting fucking canceled. I'm just joking. I'm not
getting. Guys, if this thing gets shut down, we already know why. So no, I'm just kidding.
I said the two words there.
Yeah, fuck it. It is what it is.
Any final points before I give it to Meta?
Nah, that is my point. Shoot it onto the boy.
Meta More, what's your take on this all-wise elder blue ape?
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the compliment. I agree that what Walshy was saying is like we as humans, we're a creature that we enjoy variety and choice. And so I don't really see a future where Zuckerberg, his meta is somehow the only metaverse. And the whole, yes, they're trying their best to make the world believe that they are inventing the metaverse because there's so many people that just don't even know what that word means. They're going to trick a lot of people into believing that they created the metaverse instead of the reality that they're creating a metaverse built around their advertising platform that's already been successful. There's going to be many different metaverses. We talk about the metaverse, and what the metaverse is an interconnected digital multiverse of numerous projects, numerous places. You know, we're going to be visiting Fury 7 for the Huxley project. They're going to have a metaverse. We're going to have Sandbox is going to be a metaverse. There's the Kibaverse. And do we know which of these metaverses will be the supreme? No, we don't know that yet. But we do know which ones are being created, which ones are backed by consistent builders. And so, you know, that's a big part of why we're invested in certain projects like this and excited about them, as we know that they're spearheaded by people that are passionate and driven and excited about this stuff, not just excited about the money. So I think that the reality for me, what I believe the reality will be is that yes, Meta will have budget beyond what most can imagine. But if you look at how Facebook functions, a big part of their model is interconnectivity. You know, so you can get their API and hook it up to your website, and people can sign into your website using Facebook. And so I think that, to me, gives me a hunch that Meta will be similar, because they realize the power of interconnectivity it goes both ways. So the more that they work with other metaverses, the more their metaverse gets eyes on it. And so like I believe they would feel the confidence in their product, as they have with Facebook, is very powerful, and that they don't need to worry about creating any moats around what they're building, because they just have funding that pretty much no one else does. And I think that, I don't know, that's just my guess. I believe that they will focus on connecting with other projects and trying to, you know, they're not going to try and facilitate them. They're not going to try and like put money towards other people's platforms or anything like that. But I don't believe that they would. But I think that they see the direction of the wind. The winds are changing. Web3 is going to be huge. It's going to change the world. We're just seeing the beginnings of a digital art revolution, and it's just exciting what will be built. And I do think that it's unrealistic to believe that Meta will somehow be the metaverse, because that's contrary to the term. That's not even what the term means.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a very popular one.
I love that
just
answer.
Because, yeah. But
I don't think
it's the metaverse.
It's going to allow for a lot of these young kids. When I went to New York, there was an 11-year-old that wanted to get into NFTs. What you just said there, right, is going to allow for a lot of education for these young people to kind of take the reins and kind of like break down the philosophy of what a metaverse is. Well, is it a centralized spot? You're going to see the future Noam Chomsky's, the future Orwell's, whatever, just start learning about this space and the psychology of like tribalism between apes and cats. And it's literally just going to be an education on ramp of all this information that we're kind of saying right now in the beginning stages of origin. And I think what's going to unpeel here is going to really just rock schools, rock education all around.
I agree. It's one of those things where I think in the end, it's like, history, like we were talking about history before, to the victor goes the spoils. History is being written right now, and by the victors, it'll be rewritten. So it's one of those where we'll just have to see how everything ends up developing and going from there. But, Al Gore didn't invent the internet, everybody, and so Facebook didn't invent the metaverse. It'll be just one of those things where they have a ton of money, and we'll see what they do, but they won't be the only thing, and there's going to be competition for them, and they know it. That's why they're getting into the game, because they've been working on it behind the scenes. If they were ready to make a move, they wouldn't have done it, but they knew what's going on, and so they got to step it up, because otherwise they will be the Netscape, the Blockbuster, every other failed or died business that is out there or has been out there.
For real. I mean, just look at the history itself with like Vitalik. Dungeons and Dragons stopped his just nerfed his character, and then he said, fuck it, I'm creating Ethereum. Dungeons and Dragons or World of Warcraft, whatever, nerfed his character. He couldn't trade. He lost all his items and stuff, and he created Ethereum. I can only see that happening in a metaverse, where if it's so centralized, you can't trade your assets onto the sandbox side, and it just pisses some kid off, and then he creates the next Ethereum. He creates, it's just gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, facts.
I think a lot of people are also assuming that Meta is going to be good. We don't know that. We don't know if what they're creating is going to be engaging and fun. We don't know. Just because they have tons of money to throw at it doesn't mean they're going to create a good product. There are plenty of very big, very powerful game studios that have made games that just totally flopped. So I think, yes, there's potential it's going to be very powerful and it's going to be a huge competitor for other metaverses, but we don't know for sure if it's even going to be good, because a lot of us don't even like to use Facebook, and that's big and popular.
I know so many people, Maury, that are not even going to get a VR because of the fact that you need to connect it to a Facebook account. And I know a lot of people that have a huge problem with that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
data collection, biometrics.
If this turns out to be anything like Facebook, it's just going to be fucking spammed to the tits somehow. Like they're going to find a way to spam every billboard. You know what I mean, though? Like,
oh yeah,
if it's going to be anything reflective of what Facebook's done in the past, it's probably going to go to shit somehow. But Maura, you've mentioned this before, like the communities and being a part of the communities that you really truly want to be a part of. It doesn't matter what they build if the community sucks. Like if it's a cesspool of toxicity, people are not going to want to be there. I have a feeling that they're probably not going to do anything open source just because they don't rock out the same way that we do in the metaverse. Typically things are open source. For the most part, people want to share the information that they have so that people can innovate and piggyback on what's already been created to create other great tools that other people can benefit from. I don't see Facebook doing that or Zuckerberg doing that. So I don't know. It says a lot about him, right?
We'll have to see.
Go ahead. That's on.
No, you go. I was just saying we have to see. That's all.
We have to wait.
Shout out to all the podcast listeners that are listening to this podcast on Apple, Google Podcast, and Spotify. Make sure you follow @MetaMaury. It's spelled like it sounds. MetaMaury, MRI, Walshy _ETH, and the DeadStock OG. I know one thing, MetaMaury. When you see me with that Huxley helmet, you better come say hi, because I feel like that's gonna lead the rebellion somehow in Meta.
Oh man, I watched Ready Player One with my wife yesterday, and that end scene when they're all charging up against that force field and they're fighting the corporate entity IOI. I legitimately was seeing all the different characters, and I was like, man, what if one day, like 5-10 years in the future, something like that really happens, and there's Bored Apes and Huxleys and all these different, just like charging across a metaverse field, standing up against
could that one day
Meta
happen?
or something
Meta
like
being
that?
at the IOI?
Amazing. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm grabbing my sniper. You and me, Maury.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's over.
Well, how often does like in a rhythmic way, not like right on point, but how often does sci-fi become reality over time? And
predictive programming.
Oh yeah, it really would not surprise me if there's some point in the future. Obviously, it may not be to the exactly the same, but there will be some type of battle of the wits, or some kind of digital battle where we're trying to stand up for Web3 and what Web3 is meant to be. And I've no doubt that we need to stand strong against Meta and other corporate entities that have no intention of being what Web3 and what decentralization should be. They're not going to do that.
Hopefully
Meta will not be decentralized. They're going to trick people into thinking that's what they are.
Yeah, hopefully decentralization doesn't fall to roaring applause.
Roaring applause. Big shout out to Alchemist.
Exactly.
He got your lanyards if you need them. Just ask him in the chat.
Is that OX Alchemist from Snipers?
Yeah. He's everybody get your lanyards. He's about that life. Yeah. Get your lanyards,
bro. He's a legend. He's a legend. I love how smart he is and his axe he plays. Speaking of axe and all these other things, DeadStock, are you minting anything? What's some alpha plays only here that people in the audience can really dive into? That's because King Blackboard asked me, "Hey, Young, what's some stuff I could get into?" And I told him Huxley. You got anything for the new user?
Yeah, we're all big on Huxley. I like Huxley. Ben Morrow, shout out Ben. Personally, something I got into a few days ago. Obviously, again, it's pumped at this point, but I got into Smilesverse with our boy Wahid, OG Ape himself, digital artist. He has been creating, for a while, hard worker, great dude. And Smilesverse has been taking off. I grabbed something, I think it was at like 0.8. I think the floor for what I got now is like 1.5 or something in just a couple days. But I really like the community he's been developing. He's been grinding. And so I do like Smiles. Not saying purchase it at the moment, but it's something that I got into personally. There are some other projects that are going out.
Ben Denis told me to get Smiles early, and I didn't listen, so I feel bad.
He said you laughed at him, and it happens.
Bro, I can't mint everything, bro. I just got back from New York, and I was exhausted.
What you need to do, since we're on the topic of minting, talking about stuff that we could mint, when are you going to get a mutant and just bite the bullet and just join the fucking club? Like, no lie, just throwing you under the bus a little bit, but
get what?
Go ahead. What? A mutant ape. Buy the mutant ape already. Yeah, I know you don't want to.
I really want a punk, dude. I want to get a punk. I want to sell some prime keys and get a punk.
Well, why not both? Where's that little girl where she's like, why not both? I mean, obviously, mutant ape is a little closer, but I wanted to tell you that to you because we're brothers no matter what, gang. But I'm just saying, like, you know that you're supposed to be with us.
I know,
so, like,
I know.
Gutter
Cat's parties be lit, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not even. That's great, but I mean, what I'm hearing from New York,
I'm hearing from the Gutter Cat gang, bro. I'm one call away.
Walshy, we could say the same thing. You should buy a cat, Walshy, but go ahead, Walshy.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm hearing from like what happened in New York and whatnot, like I guess that it's just not even comparable whenever you put like what the Bored Ape Yacht Club put up and what like even everybody else combined was able to put together. Like it wasn't even something that you could put on a chart and compare. From what I'm told, I wasn't there personally, but I mean, if a mutant is your way to get a membership to a club like this, and if you actually plan on participating and being a part of it, I do think that it's something to consider. If ETH is going to continue going down or even staying stable where it is, I think that NFTs are going to continue to rip. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, I feel like the Sensei will never get a Bored Ape. I'm gonna let you guys do that. I'm just gonna be synonymous with the cat, and I'm gonna live through you vicariously, and then eventually I'll just get the punk, and then it'll count as an ape. You know what I mean?
I've been thinking, dude. Like I've been talking to some people that have punks. I've been thinking a lot. Like I could probably extend myself and finally accomplish my dream of acquiring a punk. But a lot of the people I'm talking to are saying like, there's a lot of talk of apes flipping punks. Not saying it's going to happen. But
that's a good topic.
It will.
People are noticing that like what the apes are providing is at least something. You get the prestige with the punk, but as of yet, we haven't seen Larva Labs produce anything as far as in real life events. There's not a whole lot going on as far as people wanting to be a part of it.
They didn't have to put any events. That's not you.
No, and they don't. They don't. But I mean, it goes back to what we always say about people wanting to be a part of something and people wanting to be a part of a community. And if NFTs are going to start merging with IRL things, right? If NFTs are going to merge with real life, and if Bored Apes are kind of leading that charge, I mean, punks aren't stupid people. They didn't get punks by being dumb. They're going to want to do, you know, they're going to take the road that's going to be the most profitable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what a lot of these OG punk holders do in the next couple months, if they're going to hold on to the punks or if they're going to buy ape floors.
What about funks? I'm just joking.
I'm going to be watching, dude. It's going to be interesting. The next couple months, seeing what the punk holders are doing, I'm going to be watching.
I think my plan, just like 1 Ethereum equals 1 Ethereum and so on. I think I'm gonna, 1 space bud equals 1 punk. I'm gonna have to flip. I think that's my plan. I think I'm gonna flip my space buds into shout out Cardano and space buds.
But I think that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to the punk.
Well, I mean, bro, I got a ton of space buds. Not that I'm gonna do it this year. I'm just gonna let everything simmer. But yeah, when crypto winter hits, your boy's about to be like a dragon in Game of Thrones, and I'm fucking scorching the earth. I'm picking up pieces of candy like I'm what's his face on Family Guy, like it's nothing.
Back at it like a crack addict, just going crazy.
I'm addicted. So
Cardano's not talked about enough either. My buddy Chafo's in the chat. I know that he's very, very informed with Cardano NFTs and what's going on with Cardano.
Chafo man.
Dude, like Cardano is where I got my first space buds, which were really my first really profitable NFT. I've recently gotten into some lands for what's it called? Pavia. I think it's called Pavia. That's going to be a metaverse that's going to be on the Cardano blockchain. So like, way lower entry point. If you can't afford to get into Sandbox or Decentraland, check out Pavia. I mean, 400 ADA, I think is what the floor is. And ADA's at like whatever it is. So under $1,000 is what you're talking versus like 10,000 plus on Ethereum.
Walshy, so, we got a question before we dive into Cardano and all these side chains. Can you answer that question? Anybody? That's a good friend of mine, local, named Hoop. And
Kevin Hooper. Question is, what is it exactly that makes these different NFT offerings prestigious or valuable as assets? From apes to punks to whatever. I don't know a lot.
Oh, and Cardano's not a side chain. Let's just be quite frank. It's just
yeah. You know what I mean.
It's a
My bad.
Because otherwise, Kusama and Polkadot, which are also not, they're not side chains either. But
I think, like Kevin, at this point, bud, it's just a matter of supply and demand. These assets are basically backed with a token. You can think of the token as like a certificate of authenticity, and it's that certificate of authenticity that people are in fact trading, right? So the demand has just risen so greatly over the past few months as it pertains to NFTs and digital collectibles that people want these things. So I mean, it's just a supply demand thing. And it's the underlying token that holds that said value. Obviously, if that weren't the case, then the right click save as argument would be valid, but it is not the case. So it is not valid. NFTs are verifiably scarce and they're provably scarce. So, it's kind of a lot to bite off if you're just getting into the scene, trying to understand the value behind NFTs. But for me, starting to approach it from like a trading card angle was the easiest way for me to kind of make sense of it, because a trading card in itself is a piece of cardboard. It should have no value, but it does have value if it's a Babe Ruth.
I gotta give you alpha plays only on that one.
Yeah, nice.
But
the fact that the Charizard, Logan Paul wears it over his neck in a diamond necklace when he fights. To the same argument is that the Mona Lisa, you could just take a picture of it. You don't really own that Mona Lisa. That big art house does, and I think that demand, that scarcity, that the fact that they're, DeadStock, you could speak to it. Actually making real life events, merch that sells crazy, little baby, all these things. Like, speak on it.
No, actually, you hit the nail on the head, but I will expound on that stuff. The fact is that it is verified proof of ownership, and while right now it is low-hanging fruit, which is being dominated handedly by profile pics, by whatever it is, NFTs, not NFTs, but just by the apes and the punks and all that stuff. These NFTs are not going anywhere, and eventually we're going to see this NFT technology be utilized for, again, real-world stuff, talking about game tickets. If you'll get an NFT when you get a speeding ticket, you'll get where you go to a game, when you own your house, when you buy it, your driver's license, your birth certificate, all this stuff is going to end up being NFTs. It's going to be on the blockchain. It's going to be verifiable, and they'll also be non-fungible tokens because all of us obviously are not the same. And so with it is going to come a evolution of, while this stuff grows, the biggest thing is, even though this technology itself is newer, nothing is new underneath the sun. So everything that's happening right now on the blockchain is we're just watching the wheel not be reinvented, but just redone in a digital version. So everything that you guys watch, whether it was the gold rush or capitalism and all that stuff, is just being taken and just shifted over to the blockchain now. So those of us that have been able to watch this game develop, whether it's stocks or whatever it is, video games, obviously play to earn, we're just watching everything that we've grown up with be shifted into this new medium. And so while we're talking about like Facebook and Meta or Decentraland or Sandbox, the same way there's different sports teams, there's different brands of chips, there's different different sandwiches you can get, all the shit, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be a variety. There's going to be ones that fall to the wayside. There's going to be ones that fucking blow things out of the water. And being able to understand this stuff now and interact with it, it's really just giving us such an advantage, because I think I said something earlier today where I tweeted, I was like, sending unconditional love to all the entire right click save community, because it's definitely fun to engage and make fun of them, or just kind of do a little drama, but in the end it's literally because of those people that were early. Because if everybody got it, then we'd all be where we were supposed to be already. We're early because of the fact that people don't understand it. And shout out to Kevin for the great question, because it's people like him that are asking the questions and learning about this stuff that are really going to make a difference, not only in the space but in their lives, for now and for time to come. So
and then that's why, and Metamori, I want you to hit the home run in it. But that's why, like, artists like Chimo do, photographers, he's a photographer. And if you position yourself in the NFT space right, you can go down as a famous photographer, the collectors that collect that, put that in their metaverse home. There's opportunities here to be immortal, in a sense, with your art that's verifiable, backed by the blockchain, smart contract. Metamori, do you want to hit a home run for us for that question? Great answer, by the way. DeadStock. Respond.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Yeah, I think just continuing what you boys said, it's just like any other brand. And how do the fans of that brand value the assets of that brand? And then what's different with these brands is that you can have proportional ownership and be part of it and benefit from being part of the brand versus, going and buying some other merch from a corporate entity. You're just getting that piece of merch. You're not part of a community necessarily, unless you jump into it in some other way. But it comes down to, what are the owners of these NFTs? What are they willing to sell them for? And what are people willing to pay? And that ends up defining the floor. It's almost as very similar to platforms such as eBay, where if there is or Amazon, where if there's easy access to a particular asset, the market itself is going to determine the value. And so the value is determined by how badly do people want to get it, and how badly do they want to hold on to it once they have it. And that's what evaluates these different NFTs. And I'm sorry, Young, I don't know if I could hit the home run on this one. Shout out to my wife. While you guys were answering the question, she brought me some pancakes, so I've been a little bit distracted.
Holy shit.
Hey, that's a win-win. That is a home run, actually.
Eating a pancake look like?
I don't know, but you guys probably saw me bouncing around everywhere a second ago, and that's the gist of it. I'm over here smashing these delicious pancakes.
Are they burnt on the top and the bottom, like crispy?
Just a little bit on the edge. They've got like that little crispiness along the edge.
And you know what it is?
Just like Grandma used to make. You know how it is.
Well, hey, shout out to Grandma. We told her about the show today, actually.
Hopefully, can you guys check the likes? Hopefully you guys are liking, and Grandma's liking the stream.
And the funny thing is, I think in the end with the apes, just like with the punks, we have these projects that are being built. Projects are always coming out, but it is a timing thing. You want to have a good team behind it, whether it's Lava Labs or Yuga Labs, in the sense of the punks and the Bored Apes. But timing really does help. The punks came out 4 years ago. They came out early. It was perfect time for them to come out. That's why they have the notoriety that they do. Bored Apes, they came out at the beginning of this bull run, right when NBA Top Shot was kind of falling back to earth. They were one of the few projects that came out, hit a home run, and it didn't sell out right away. Things weren't selling out. I think it took a week for them to sell out, and by the next Saturday, they officially sold out when Pranksy got in, bought a bunch, and then everybody was just like, oh, let me get one of these. So a perfect storm is always needed sometimes with some of these things. It wasn't just any one ingredient. It was the fact that they came at the right time. It's a solid project. It's Yuga Labs is somebody that says less and does more. They deliver, they execute, they're genius. And bottom line, that community came together. All of us that had that had apes, we were just like, we didn't let it die. We were just like so fucking gutter about it, you know, just to use the gang term. But it was just that we were very bored with what happened, and we kept it rocking.
You know, it is foreign to me. You know, when I put myself in a new person's shoes, it's like, why the fuck is these people saying gang, and this shit is like 20,000, and it does make sense. Like like I think Kevin just said, people are fighting over the Mona Lisa and writing the checks like Sotheby's and Christie's auctions for these things. I think it comes down to that flex. It's like full circle. It's like you want to be. You want to separate, you know, you want to collect the beads. You want to have the certain attire, the primates that have the most. You know, it's just primal. I feel this shit's so.
I kind of have a crush on the. I'm kind of crushing on that announcer lady from Sotheby's, the blonde one. She's kind of cute.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
She's a.
You're gonna make a move or what, dude? You're gonna put us under your ape?
I hear one bit. I hear two bit. I got Walshy going after one.
I don't think it works like that anymore. I don't think I can just go and pay her father a dowry of an ape.
Yeah, you don't know if you don't try. So,
Someone said, I find the idea of digital economy functional end of things really interesting too, though.
It is very interesting.
Just wait till Cool Cats drops the milk token, and then Bored Apes drops their tokens, their actual cryptocurrencies, and you use that at a Supreme store for like a fucking Supreme Bored Ape collab, the verifiability, you know, the tickets going there, and
yeah, like shout out to Kevin too, because like if you're into that right now already, man, and you're new into NFTs, you're gonna find out some interesting bits of information in the coming months. Like Young just got back from New York, where if you owned an ape, you could basically print yourself a ticket to get into certain events that were exclusive to ape holders. There was other things going on with different projects where you could access little Easter eggs if you held certain NFTs. So yeah, buddy, glad that you're here learning, and I hope you tune in weekly.
Yeah, Kevin is he's a savant. Sheesh indeed, brother. Guys, I have to go, and there's a cocoa butter workshop class that I you gotta do it. Apparently, you gotta slide on your chest across the cocoa butter like pool to make the flavors and shit. So I gotta get my bathing suit from TJ Maxx, and I gotta fucking go and do this cocoa butter making class. So,
when I did that, I grabbed my bathing suit from Marshall, so it's funny. I think you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, dude, you want to come? I mean, they need a little chest hair inside the cocoa butter. They said that's the secret ingredient.
I just waxed everything, so unfortunately, not. I can't participate.
All right, cool.
I've got chest hair and spades if you need some extra, bud.
I love it.
They're blue.
Is it? Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say.
true. That's true. It might make the butter a little blue.
No, normally we never make it to. We always make it to an hour and a half. This show is literally an hour and a half. It used to be 50 minutes. Now it's an hour and a half. The stuff that we talk about is just so juicy that we just have to stay here and just kind of soak it all in. But you know the part. Did I miss anything before I give you guys the Sensei treatment here?
I think we're good, buddy.
Did we miss anything?
I think we had a good say this week, boys. We always do.
For real.
Facts.
Are we still preparing for a winter?
Always.
All day. All
Always.
day. Yeah.
Always got to be ready.
I shouldn't just be a moon boy, gaslighted moon boy.
You gotta hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
I always
Boom.
try to just keep my portfolio balanced so that whatever happens, I'll be well positioned enough.
Oh,
to
I
get
know.
behind.
I know that's something that popped up. Shout out to Parallel minting Huxley, and the two parts of the sci-fi trinity coming together. Now all I need is just connect the Watcher to Parallel and Sci-Fi, and my diabolical plan. The Huxley and my diabolical plan is complete. The Sensei is literally smarter than what you think. I'm trying to do something here. All right, guys.
Always try.
This is the part where you channel your inner Sensei. You can chill. You can tell somebody you love them. You can. I know a lot of people aren't getting Christmas gifts because of the delays of shortages. So you can probably send an audio shout out to one of your loved ones. so they can watch this as their own Christmas gift. But you have the floor. I'm gonna give Walshy the final word because I think he has some good stuff to say. So we're gonna go Metamori, DeadStock, and Walshy. Metamori, you have the gong.
Thank you, brother. It's always good to hang with you guys and just chill out. Be able to talk shit about NFTs. I love it. And shout out to my wife. I love her very much, especially when she brings me pancakes during the stream. Also, one of my oldest friends was watching the stream earlier. Shout out to Prison Lunch Lady on Twitter. He was actually the very first person to send me a tweet about 7, maybe 8 months ago, and it literally just he sent me a text that said, "Yo, bro, you heard of NFTs?" And that was the beginning of me looking into this, and kind of now I feel like this is all I've done. Like we say, that the time moves so fast. I feel so at home here. I feel like we've been doing this stuff for years, and it's just a really fun chapter of life that
Dude,
I'm
you
really,
see all these gray hairs? Dude, we've been doing this shit for eons, dude.
Well, I stay blue for life, so it's hard for me to determine the length of time. It's like Groundhog Day with blue fur, but it's actually fun as hell. But no, I love this. I love this chapter of life. I'm excited to be writing this chapter of my story alongside you guys and all the other awesome people in this space and in this community. I don't have any eyes on anything new. We've talked about Huxley and
How many Huxleys do you have, dude? Because I'm trying to beat you.
well, I've got 30 Huxley so far. And I don't know how many I'll end up with. I'm probably going to get some more once gas chills out.
Oh, you gotta wait for issue 2, dude. Sheesh, save some for issue 2, okay?
I'll still be excited to get some of issue 2. I'll be excited either way.
True collector.
But I think something I just want to remind everyone, and I hope that everyone knows this about me, is that I love you. I'm excited you're here, and I will never care what your PFP is. I'll always just love you as another person that's excited about things I'm excited about, and that we can learn from each other. It'd be awesome, Young, to have you in the Bored Apes one day, but I totally understand if that is not the choice you end up making, and if you go for the punks, I get that, because they're, regardless of what they produce or what the comparison, they are clearly an artifact of this space. And I would love to have one day. I'm sure most of us do feel that way. But regardless, whether you're a punk or a Yeti, just the fact that you're here and you're excited about this stuff, I love you and I'm excited. If I can ever be of any help to you, please reach out.
Sheesh. Watch this man. He is literally, I feel, going to be... He has this Nostradamus thing to him. He has this wizardry. He has this Gandalf thing. He has a little bit of Jimmy Fallon in him. But he's a powerful force. And everyone knows. And I'm so happy that DeadStock, you introduced me to this man. Because it's nothing but blossoms and flowers. And I give you flowers while you're here to everything you post. And it's just a wellspring of life.
Thank you, brother. I feel like this space has really brought me back to life in a way. And I'm so excited to be here. I'm stoked to be here with you guys.
Sheesh. Love you, dude. DeadStock, I got love for you too. You are the people's champ. You're like the skinny version of The Rock. Here is the gong for you.
Well, I may be thinner. I appreciate the gong. I'm bigger below the belt, and that's a fact. But I wanted to, it's funny how synchronicity works, because I was actually going to say the exact same thing. I wanted to use this moment for some quick quotes, but first off, just say how much I appreciate you guys. Walshy, we used to be on the phone every day, brother. I know we're a little busier now. Love you very much, Maury. You already know how much I love you. And Young, I just want to shout out. I mean, I know you'll always remember the conversation that we had months and months ago, but I want to say that I just always appreciate and love how much you've been grinding, how much you've been putting in, and how you've been seeing the fruits of your labor actually bear fruit. And obviously, that I got all of your backs forever and ever and ever. Shout out to Jeremy, of course, we love him, and I do want to shout out Danny Ukes, and I want to shout out Can't Stop Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody in the dojo, of course. So like you said, give them the flowers while we're all here. And since this is a little more intimate stream at this point, just want to show appreciation for all you guys. Quote wise, though, I just had some stuff that I tweeted, and two that I tweeted, one-liners, and one from a friend. I tweeted, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I said, "Don't sell what doesn't need to be sold. Stick to your path, do what you need to do, and don't worry about any of the other fuss. You don't have to impress anybody. When you find the right people, they're going to appreciate you for who you are, and you're going to be able to make the moves genuinely without having to worry about any of that stuff." And also, since we are in a space that goes so rapidly, another tweet that I had, which I think it was again yesterday or 2 days ago, which was, "You are not your emotions. They're like the seasons, which things change, things fluctuate, things go up, things come down. Crypto winter, bull market, but at the same time, you are that foundation while everything is going on. So just make sure that you stay focused on what you need to do, because you may feel down one day or for a week or for a month or whatever, but like in that Kanye song, it cannot be night, forever and all that stuff. So it cannot always be night." And the final quote was from a friend. She had retweeted, and it says, "Never confuse what you were offered for what you were worth. Always remember exactly where you are, what you want to do, and don't put yourself in bad positions, whether it's overextending with your investments or putting yourself in a group to do things that you probably shouldn't be doing. Just always remember what you need to be." And so that is my closing out statements. I love you guys. Appreciate everybody for enjoying the stream again. And to all those podcast listeners, thank you for listening. Love you as well.
Sheesh. Thank you, beloved. Thank you for being who you are.
Hey.
Fucking really, the dojo, they need you. It's like you're the Terminator T2, good version.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, you're there. You're there. Walshy, here's the gong.
Thank you. Another great episode, guys. I love all of you, and thank you to all of our listeners. I love all of you as well. Thank you for tuning in again. And I kind of love the direction that the channeling your inner sensei portion of the show kind of went, because of some things that happened locally here where I live. I've been kind of thinking today about what I wanted to talk about for the channeling of our inner senseis. And that's this, like the NFT scene. It's an amazing place. There's all kinds of people willing to help you along your way. Some of you know this already because you've already reached out to me, but my DMs are normally open. Like if you can't get a hold of me on Discord, give me a message on Twitter. And I extend that not only to like NFT knowledge that you might think I might be able to help with, but I mean, if you're having a shitty day, or if you're having a shitty week, or if life just hasn't been going so well, reach out and have a say with me too. Like it doesn't have to be restricted to NFT stuff. So, the dojo, I'm sure that all the other guys here can be here for you as well. Like it's not just me extending this offer. I'm sure that any of the other guys in the dojo would also oblige if you're just looking for someone to talk to. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because, it's easy to get hyper focused on the NFT scene and get focused overly on like the sunshine and the rainbows aspect of it. Like the days are pretty bright and shiny for me whenever I'm in the metaverse. It's easy to lose focus on the fact that there are people suffering in real life. Like it's not all these sunshines and rainbows that it appears to be whenever we're online. So yeah, anybody out there struggling, having a bad day, don't hesitate to reach out. We're all here. We all have an ear that we can offer you, and maybe some advice. Who knows? So that's all I wanted to say this week, guys.
Wow. Walshy is in essence he's the older version of Charlie from the Chocolate Factory, and he has this loving heart. He's always had it. He's always helped me. He's always kind of just been a friend to play in Decentraland in the early days and talk stuff. And he's authentic. He's really himself. Guys, I'm not gonna give the gong for myself. These people literally zen this whole aura out. I would say your aha moment is coming. You know when it is coming. You know when that aha moment comes. If you have a conviction, trust your gut. Verify with the dojo. Don't always trust. Verify. And you know, in this space, it takes nothing to be nice. It takes nothing to follow your inner compass. You don't have to seek constant validation and shit posting and fudding. You can try. There's very few of us that try to spread good, maybe 10% vibes on that Twitter space. So if you're gonna come in Twitter, try to be nice. Try to spread positivity. Show your dog. Do cool things like go in making cocoa butter, like I'm about to do. Just be yourself. I love you for who you are. Live the dream. Eat ice cream. And above all,
Stay content.
Stay content.
That rent.
hold the reins. We love you guys. Yo, be prepared if the music is dope to dance, okay? Just be prepared. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. Sheesh.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh shit. That's CryptoPunk 33545. Oh, that's your fist bump. All right, love you guys.